Hello everyone, it's Levi here, and I hope you all have been doing well for the holidays. I'm so excited to finally be able to talk to you after such a long period, and there's a lot to talk about going into 2023. I will quickly try to go over everything in this video, including Oblivion, Fallout 3, the next project, the Game Hub, AMG, the community, and at the end, I'll go over where I've been for the past year. To put it lightly, I've just been going through rough times. But first, let's talk about our favorite game. So I want to talk about Oblivion. If you take a look at the game as it was released versus where it is now, you can clearly tell there's been a lot of care and effort put into this masterpiece over the years by its community. The Remastered project is supposed to be that gateway for anyone interested in testing things out in their own unique way without too much worry or hassle. I think we have not only achieved that goal, but have come above and beyond as a community. We started at the initial release with 2-hour-long installation tutorials and now currently have a dynamic installation guide and a custom installer. We have had thousands upon thousands of players for the Remaster project, and all I can say before I go on is how deeply appreciative I am for this community. I started this project with the goal of just rallying some support for a good cohesive mod pack, and we have gone far beyond what I thought to be possible. I have given thousands of hours into development and tech support with people along the way, and I wish I could have done more by now. But what I couldn't do, people taught me, and there have been some outstanding members of the community who have stepped up and helped out others, and I truly recognize that. Regardless of the hurdles, there is an update just upon the horizon for the Remastered project, which includes extremely streamlined performance and stability, and a variety of new features. There will be new mods, but I do need to go over one simple fact, and that is the pickings are getting slim, as they say. What I mean is that the mods out there in the wild were mostly made during the golden years of the game's initial modding community. The bigger projects needed teams, and with a plethora of mod devs at the time, major projects were coming out left and right. Many of the greatest ones made during the golden era are already included into our work, and the ones that aren't are due to incompatibility issues, whether it be for technical or lore reasons. Over time, we make mods compatible, but new, good mods are far rarer than they used to be. This will cause a decrease in new major mods added in each update from here on. This is something I've been aware of from the start, and I've always planned on creating our own modding space with plenty of tutorials and guidelines to promote further development and great projects for the game. We have already been working on our own original additions, but the more hands, the better. So this is all to say that the new mods for the project are going to get harder to find after this update, and most updates will include fewer new mods, but more original content, more customization, and far more balancing of what we already have. There will also be tons of new information on the guides and the websites that will explain more things and will grow daily as new things are discovered. You will see that in the coming update, and I expect version 2.4 to be out in about a week's time. Besides Oblivion, we also have the Fallout 3 Remastered project. Fallout 3 is also a very important game, but unfortunately suffers the same fate in terms of mod availability, and was actually less active overall. Regardless, the next update for its Remastered project will include some great new features and balancing that will make some of the quirks go away and allow for a better experience in the Wasteland. There will also be some revisions and additions to the guides on the web pages to see and learn more about the features of the project. I cannot currently give an ETA on Fallout 3's update release, but it will be out very shortly after the update for Oblivion Remastered. Now I want to go over something extremely important to me personally. The projects we have now mostly have been a good litmus test for what's possible in terms of amplifying the experience in the games we love. There are two main priorities for me and aftermarket gaming overall, and that is to first, make The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion the best game it could possibly be to allow us and future generations to enjoy it and its community-made additions. Then, to apply the same concept to many other games that are adored but fall victim to a lot of the same quirks. Those quirks being aggressive aging, lack of or outdated info on modding, varying levels of technical difficulty, dying communities, and not knowing where to start a lot of the times. The Game Hub and our website are the platforms we are using to mitigate these issues for not only Oblivion, but Fallout 3 and all of the other games we want to do. At this stage, the tools we have are good for what they are, but they aren't what I need for future projects. That means the Game Hub version 3.0 will come out before the next project, which is currently set to be a Grand Theft Auto title. That is a lot to say for one sentence, so I'll quickly say that the Grand Theft Auto game we are working on is arguably the best one that's been made so far, and the project has been off the ground for a while now. There's just more work to be done. Now to the game hub. It will be remade from the bottom to the top. The software itself is simple, but still a 2 to 3 week job for a professional team with respectable front end, back end, and web developers. I have had an extremely absurd amount of bad luck finding good and honest devs, to say the least. But I will go ahead and say it's my fault, as I only sourced freelancers. This causes a variety of issues, as you need a team of specialists rather than a do-it-all person. The results I've gotten are like if you hire a handyman rather than a plumbing company, electrical company, and painter to work on those separate parts of your house. You just get better results with the obvious. I've had some good people come my way too, but I need a certain level of commitment and range of skills to get the best version of the Game Hub as I can for everyone. So instead of cheaping out, I'm going with a software development firm to create the Game Hub version 3.0, which will be designed for far greater customization for modding and make it easier to add entirely new projects. It will also have tons of other features and will be a good platform to expand upon over time. There has been hundreds of hours in just designing the flowchart for the software, so it's going to be a serious technical challenge. I will go over the Game Hub version 3.0 in the next update video that will accompany the Oblivion Remastered version 2.4 update. So now, in terms of aftermarket gaming and its community, I will say just like before, I am astonished at how far we have come and looking forward to how far we will go. I have had so much planned for this community that it's quite impossible to even begin to share it all. But I will say, it involves more games, a plethora of multiplayer services, community resources, and even dabbling into actual hardware into a variety of ways. There's just a crazy amount of angles that you can enhance a game from, whether it be technically or through its community. I would just like to see unlimited love poured into Oblivion, Fallout 3, and so many more titles. So with all that out of the way, I will go over a little bit about where I've been for the past year. To put it simply, life has just been rough. Depression just got the best of me in a lot of ways, and I feel like I couldn't catch a break. Not only that, but things were just worse and worse. No support and pressure from all directions. I couldn't possibly explain everything in a timely manner, but it involves drastic living conditions, lack of food, utilities, transportation, and income. It was just too dire to be able to focus on video game development, as things like that should be respected, as it's more of art than mindless labor. You just can't force a good result, and it has to come when it comes. I finally got to a point where it was impossible to go on in the same fashion, and I finally took off all safeguards and started trying extremely off-the-wall things to finally get something to fruit. I'm at the point now where I have several sources of income rather than one, which was a flaw of mine at the start of the pandemic when things started to go south, as I had too many eggs in one basket. What also sucks is when you start from nothing, you usually are lucky to even have one basket, so you usually do not even have a choice in moments like those. Regardless, I finally conquered all of my short-term battles and I'm finally on my feet again for the moment. The really upsetting part to me is that this is actually the 5th iteration of this video over the past year, as there were times where I thought things were getting better, but most ways they weren't. So as I would record the video, I'd find myself talking in circles and basically would even have to lie to say things were finally okay for me. Another thing is, this video itself represents a confirmation that things are finally flowing in the pipeline again. So if I'm not able to work on the projects because of my current condition, then that would be a lie as well. The fact that I'm finally able to properly address things and reference them as being in the past should now indicate that everything is finally okay for me. And I've indeed gotten back to working on the projects and have been for quite some time now. There was a final hiccup a few weeks ago where Frosty, my cat I love dearly like a child, suffered a tragic end. And all I can say is he did not pass away on his own, but in my arms, which is the only positive in the situation. I'd rather not remember him for his end though, and rather for the good memories I did have when he was around. And he and his siblings have actually been in the Remastered project for over a year now, just right in the back of Exotic Imports and Oddities, which just shows how much they mean to me. When I say these cats saved my life, I truly mean it. They're all I've had for so long, and it's just us out here against the world. I owe it to his siblings to make their lives as great as possible, and that's what I'm doing. So with all of that said, life has just been pretty bad for me recently, but it's hopefully gotten all behind me, and the projects are still in very healthy condition. If you all have noticed, I gave free access to the Game Hub 9 months ago as a way to just let everyone enjoy what was available. And if you wanted to still support, then you could, and a lot of people have. We have had hundreds of lifetime members, and I've had numerous DMs from people wishing me well in the holidays or just to check in. And to those people, I truly love all of you and wish you all the best in life. I want to say that nothing has gone unnoticed at all, and I wish to do for those who have helped me in whatever way I can. This project is purely a passion project for me, and I love these games. The work I do and the success we have has no effect on the fact I just want to see these games in their absolute best forms, to not only enjoy them, but to keep them alive forever. Old games are a relatively new concept in human history. As for the thousands of years history has been recorded, video games have only been around for about 50. There are some amazing titles over the years that have had significant meaning, and they all need to be praised, remembered, and passed on for as long as possible. And this is the absolute goal of aftermarket gaming. Now, if you're still here at the end, just know that I deeply appreciate your time and vow to make sure that our goals are achieved no matter what obstacles that come my way. I've learned a lot, and we are in a position to achieve great things. So let's just take this journey one day at a time together as a community. Thank you all very much, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.